teman-teman Urban Dukun, apa kabar? Senang ketemu lagi. Terima kasih banyak sudah datang dan mau mendengarkan podcast kami. Hari ini sangat istimewa karena kami akan ngobrol tentang sebuah topik yang very close to my heart and also very close to our guest heart today. And the topic is called a healer in every home. Kita akan mulai dengan memperkenalkan tamu kita hari ini, Scarlett. Hello, welcome back.
Thank you for having me back.
Please introduce yourself to the audience.
I'm Scarlett. I'm from Singapore. I'm an energy shifts and insights practitioner and teacher. So I teach people how to access your intuition and healing energies. I also serve clients so that you can use energy as a perspective to help yourself to either shift out of a stuck situation or to achieve your goals.
Thank you. Hello everybody, I'm Karmen. I'm the founder of Urban Dukun. Urban Dukun is a wellness house and we focus on giving you a safe space and making you feel safe so you can start the inner journey towards healing yourself. And the word we use today is specific: healing.
Yes.
Healers, not therapists, not practitioners.
Deep breath.
And you probably wonder, dear friends, why we're taking deep breath.
Yeah, we are. I'm taking a huge deep breath because we were just having a discussion before this about what it truly means to be a healer, and
Yes.
there is so many different definitions in some ways because of the level and depth of a healer and what it means to different traditions.
Yes,
Yeah.
and what it means to become a healer and what it means to be a practitioner and a therapist, there are three different things.
But we're also still kind of grappling and defining what that may truly mean, right? Because every I think in every different society or different culture, the word could be a different definition.
Right? It could be meaning slightly different,
Yeah.
and there are some people who just use them all interchangeably.
That would be me in the in the urban environment in Singapore. It's kind of interchangeable, but I wouldn't consider myself a therapist in that sense, although some of my clients do use that word on me. Yeah. So I see that a healer is someone who has the healing abilities, the innate healing abilities. And then I would see a practitioner as someone who maybe wants to, be a little bit more secular in their ways, but yet at the same time, they are someone who walks the path. And that's why they are, to me, the word practitioner, it's about you're someone who takes what you do for other people with a certain set of values, and you do that. So whether you're a healer, whether you're a therapist, whether you're a teacher, first of all, you're a practitioner. Yeah. When you are walking this path. But a healer is someone who you already have that ability and you're able to do that in whatever context of the word. But of course, you were sharing a bit earlier about what it means in the Balinese tradition, and I thought that's really interesting. That's really cool because that's also what you find in Polynesian culture.
Yeah, because in the ancient Nusantara tradition, which is like the old Indonesia in the old ways, it's a healer is actually a noble profession because obviously one has to have a practitioner's ability or practitioner's knowledge on helping somebody else, whether it's through energy like we do, or plant medicines, herbs, jamu in Indonesia, and other things. But once you get into the point of being deemed as a healer, that means you are taking that responsibility of doing it with an intention of a goodness, of the goodness and you're taking a side, basically. You're taking a path that you are serving into the goodness of society.
Yeah, for sure. And in some of the other tradition that I am actually a part of, we also talk about being a master healer. So I feel almost like what you're talking about as a healer in the Balinese or the Indonesian tradition is about embracing it to become a master healer.
Yeah, because I think as far as I just recently actually getting all this information is that that once the path of a healer might put one in a place that is like almost akin to a priesthood, because that's how it is, and that's how it was in the ancient tradition. So it's a very, very serious profession. And having that said, we have the same passion apparently. It's actually to acknowledge the healer that is born in every home. Based on our experiences and our knowledge, there is a healer born to every home. Would you like to share more about that?
Wow, okay. I feel like, based on when I was first introduced to this phrase, it was when I first began my energy healing journey, where I learned, and, the vision of the person was to have a healer in every home. And I was really like enamored and touched with this vision. Then when I started using oils, there was the same vision going around, one healer in every home. And as we're talking about this, and even just like a few weeks ago, I was having this conversation with friends, and I was saying that I feel like, because those of us who have this vision, it probably feels like a soul group mission, if I can call it that. We're all here actually to do that same work, but maybe we're all doing it in different ways or with different modalities. And I'm coming to that understanding as well, that because of whatever is happening in this current age, because there's a lot of advances in technology, there's a lot of changes in the world that's happening really, really fast. And because of all the difference in the frequencies, the energies, and the things that we need to encounter, because our world is a polarity world, right? Where there is light, there's darkness. Right. And where there is health, wholesomeness, then there is illness and sickness. So with all of these coming up at play and at a very great speed and depths of it, that we need a healer in every home. We truly need that. Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's beyond what is happening right now, that allopathic medicines become more expensive. Not everybody has insurance. And also the part that a lot of people are also a bit numbed out of their own awareness of themselves and their family structures and their loved ones. And they've given their power away, so to speak.
Yes, absolutely true. Because, if we really take good care of ourselves, in every sense of the word, there is really no need for disease. And then therefore, maybe there is less healing that's needed in that sense. And also because of the nature of how society has evolved into a more urban, more economically driven state of way of life, we are so busy chasing the things that are of a material nature. We are forgetting to actually reconnect back with the part of us that knows how to relax, that knows how to enjoy, and not just during times of holidays or like annual leave. Or taking a bonus, right? It should be something that should be on an ongoing basis, that we are enjoying life, that we are in a state of health, that we are feeling at ease. But because of the daily demands that we think that we have to be a part of, there's so many of us who is stressed out, frazzled out, we're not getting enough sleep, simply because everyone else seems to be doing the same thing. And then we're enjoying so much technology that we are in the midst of so much frequencies, but yet at the same time, we're enjoying that level of entertainment. We're enjoying that level of being able to access information, to access different forms of kind of like shows and all of that, or information around the world, right? Or like dabbling in technology. We all want to be a part of that because there's that excitement. So we're like driven into this ball of like, let's keep going and going and going. So we don't stop. We don't ever stop to look at, can I relax? Can I sit down, and take 1 full hour to myself before I begin the day? It becomes a luxury. And then, by a certain age, our body just gives way. Or even before that, right, our emotions may not be tended to, right? Whatever is happening, like maybe we have a certain conflict situation, but because of, whatever we think should be the right thing to do, like, okay, let's get to work first, let's get the practicalities first, then we are not addressing the part of the energy that gets stuck in our body. And then over time, it adds on and becomes toxicity in the body. And because of all the chemicals that we have also these days in our life, the toxins found in everything, chemicals found in everything, then, again, we are suffering like as though it is normal.
That is a really interesting one, because I have been pondering myself. Before I said what I was about to say, I'd like to also highlight one word, because we think we have to, right? We think we need to be in the right place because our mind is telling us to do some things. But I'm pondering that our body is actually a very intelligent body. All the cells are very intelligent.
Yeah.
And it seems like it has lost its ability to heal itself. It seems like it has lost its ability to be agile, to be adaptive, or to get rid of its toxins. In originality, I felt that, maybe because it's the amount of toxins that put us in a form of overwhelmed with too much toxin, too much information. That's why it's not collapsing. But I'm having second thoughts, actually, after having a lot of shift last week.
Yeah.
I'm having second thoughts, like maybe, just maybe, what if we are actually more than that? What if we could actually handle all those toxins?
Yeah, definitely so. Because I feel that these are all information, as we were saying earlier in some of our other discussion, it's all about energy. So toxin is only one part of it, right? It's really all the other things we're all this holographic like memory, we're all these holographic expressions, and whatever is manifesting is because of all this information. So toxin is also an information if you can look at it that way. So we can actually disintegrate that. We can also become stronger to that. And then it doesn't have as much effect on us. There are ways, it's just that the usual education that we are given does not inform us.
Right, and the education, of course, they are based on research, right? And the research is only looking solely at things that they can see.
Yeah.
Right? So slowly on a material, physical level, if that's the emphasis, then it disregards other things, including the big I that we did talk about, the intuition part.
Yeah, so there are so many factors involved when it comes to healing, and there's so many factors involved because of the sheer amount of interdependence that we have as a human race, because we are not just connected to our body, we're connected to the field of everyone else. Right now we are interacting, the two of us, our cells are talking to one another, and then there are other people in the room and our cells are talking to one another as well, and then as a whole we're all talking, and then our lineage, our family, right, their cells are talking to us, right, their consciousness is talking to us, and then there's the whole entire group that we are in, whatever society, whatever association, whatever company, whatever country, whatever race that we are in, there's a certain set of beliefs that's surrounding all of it, and that is in our awareness, in our consciousness somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's always that one particular person in every family, in every lineage, that somehow react differently towards the same group of mass consciousness.
Yeah, and are able to see beyond or feel beyond that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you like to share a little bit?
Wow, okay. How do I share a little bit about this? Well, I guess
we can extend the time.
Yeah, because
the time is an illusion.
Even in this room, I feel like there's so many, like other than the two of us, who are the healers in our family, of course. They are probably also the healers in your family. And they're all smiling because they know that, or they're kind of like, yeah, grudgingly so. I don't know how to heal, but I know I feel a lot of things, right? Yeah. So usually they are the ones who kind of can see beyond. And I noticed that a lot of healers are either very sensitive, very empathic, or very observant from young. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So the ones who are kind of like, I'm same as everyone else in my family, yet I'm totally different. Those are usually the healers.
Yeah, there's a sense of not belonging, really.
Yes.
Like, there's always something odd, like, why am I different? But I can't tell what the difference is.
Yeah.
And I also noticed that that is probably my case. I got sick a lot when I was a kid.
Mm. Mm.
Like, I probably went through the dark night of the soul way earlier.
Like, oh, why am I sick again? Oh, I'm never gonna get out of this. Yeah. And then, there are those who somehow, you can see beyond. You can see beyond. It's like you're observing everyone in the family and you're like, okay, they are talking this way, but they don't really mean it. Or like, oh, do they not see themselves? Why are they always talking in the same manner? And then the same results are happening all the time in the family because of certain dynamic. So those who are observant, those who are sensitive, right? I mean, for you, it's like falling sick. For some children, it's like they are always like having breakout in their skin,
Yeah.
right? Because it's not safe. Like this family is just not safe, and I'm breaking out all the time because it's like oh, I'm fraught with all the emotions of the people in the family. Yeah, and not knowing like what to do with it. And I love it because there are so many sharings around the world where either clients or practitioners, they share the story of how people like that, and then when they actually, rather than the conventional methods of dealing with little ailments or big ailments like that, chronic situations, they bring them to maybe a shaman of maybe their own tradition or maybe in a different country. And then something happens after just a healing session in that sense. And they say, I don't know how it worked, but it worked. I got out of it. And then a lot of times these are the ones who then, set on their own path to
Right.
become a practitioner or a healer in some ways.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would say energy shift will be one of those modalities that you can incorporate in your family, whatever traditions or healing practices or therapy practices you have already at home. It can easily be done, and it can easily be inserted into your family, like almost like a habit.
Yeah, it is, like when you learn energy shift, you realize that it's something that becomes very natural. It becomes second nature because you will walk into the room and you'll be clearing the room. And then you will be, before you walk into the room, you're clearing people already because you already sense it, right?
Yeah.
And then if you look at the food on the table and, it's like, okay, something is off. And then you'll be clearing the food, right? You'll be changing the energy around the food. Yeah. So many practicalities to using energy shifts.
My daughter once said in a family dinner, it's like if Mama lived in the several centuries ago, she'll be on a stake. She'll be burned. Do you think there's ongoing stories about how these people who are, now we call it a healer, actually the family's healer, were treated in the old days? And I was actually thinking maybe those stories were not the story that we have in the Asian countries, like not in Indonesia at least. They're European stories, like when certain people with a certain belief try to exercise their control and get rid of these people. And I was just wondering, how does that, and I'm pretty sure there's great fear happening when that happened, but how does that get translated into Asian countries? How do we feel like we're going to be burned off the stick if we tell people that we have healing abilities?
If I am allowed to say, in the sense that, because depending on your own upbringing, your own belief system, but I know that healers usually don't subscribe to only their own upbringing and their own system of belief. If we were to look at it on a universal level, because we're all humans, we all tap into the same set of condition. So no matter what culture we're in, we may be more closely associated with one, but because the healers are also the one that's really connecting universally across So we're connecting with all the different stories as well of all the other traditions. And also, some people may not believe it, but again, the healers who are innate healers, they would feel a resonance to this. We have other lifetimes where we were also part of that culture. So just now when you mentioned that being, you'll be on a stake and burn, right? Like I was like, because I do have a past life memory of that. Yeah, I do have a past life memory around that. And I know of a lot of friends who are healers who have the same. Yeah. So whatever we call it, whether you're assessing the field, whether you're assessing your records, whether you're assessing your past life, or you're assessing the story, whatever it is, it does affect us. Yeah, it does affect us. So sometimes to some people, healing doesn't feel like a safe word to use. Being a healer doesn't feel like a safe thing to express. And then, I have also encountered in my own personal experience where I'm told that you're not the one doing healing. And I said, and yeah, in that sense of the word, you are right, right?
They're
in
right,
whatever in whatever tradition that you're coming from, and whatever belief system you're coming from, there is one ultimate healer, and
Of
it's
course.
right. And it's right because I am also assessing that energy when I am facilitating the healing work. Yeah. So sometimes I feel like for whatever it is, whatever name you call it, a rose is a rose is a rose.
Yes.
Right? It's just that it's called a rose.
It's not going to be daisy. They're both flowers.
Yeah. Unless everyone else agrees that, we're going to call it something else. There's a renaming.
That's also very interesting because what I'm experiencing on this part growing up, when you call the term healer, then people associate it to the dark side.
Dark healing.
The polarity, right?
Yeah.
And so in order to avoid being associated to the dark side, let's just take the safe route and go to medicine.
Yeah. Yeah. So medicine is also misunderstood in the sense that because there's so many definitions. Plant is medicine, right? Energy is medicine. And then there is allopathic medicine. There's complementary medicine. So everything is medicine, right? But too much of a medicine can also become not good for you, right? So it's always about the intention behind. Yeah, and I really love what one of the master teachers that I have learned from. He says that this is the technique that I've given you, and whatever that you do with it that's not good for people, that is not called healing.
Right.
Yeah. So as long as it's not good for anyone, that is not healing. You cannot call it healing. It's something else. Same tool, not healing. A surgeon uses a knife.
A butcher uses a knife.
A butcher uses a knife. Someone who stabs someone to kill uses a knife.
So do not blame the knife.
Do not blame the knife.
Yeah, it's at the hand of the end user at the end of the day.
Yeah.
One of the way that we can recognize intuition is that when we enter a place and we felt something, and usually it's something that we feel not in a good way. So I'm wondering, how about our homes? Because there's a lot of things happening everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And I know that sometimes people who lives in a certain house get used to the energies of the house.
Yeah. So again, there's so many different possibilities, right? Because when we use energy shift, we're just looking at what's affecting the energy. And for different houses, it could be different things. But for example, if we were to look at examples, it could be the people living in there. It could be the objects. It could be the furniture. It could also be the land. Yeah. It could also be the land. Yeah.
So you do house clearings, right?
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit?
Of what I do, or like stories?
Stories.
Okay, so it may not be in the belief system of some people, but I've ever encountered when I do clearing that there has been like leftover energies in the form of spirits. Yeah.
So you can basically clear or shift spirits too with the energy shift.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So you can actually access this intuitive part of you, and then you can see what's happening. And then if it comes up as a spirit, you clear the spirit. Yeah. And whatever is affecting the spirit, just as you would work on a human, just as you would work on a situation, you just need to see what comes up that needs clearing, and you just facilitate that. Because every form of energy is, it's there. And if you look at it as a form of energy, you can then, be less afraid. I know a lot of people are afraid when we talk about this topic. Yeah, but if you approach it as an energy, then it's the same as a human. And we often joke about it, an angry human is much more scary than an angry spirit because you don't know what the human is going to do to you.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can actually do more harm.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's one. And the other would be, I find that a lot of times objects in the home, like it could be clothes, it could be a furniture, it could be a certain corner of the house that has a lingering memory, and this could be things that's not good for us energetically. So decluttering needs to happen. Other than
decluttering.
Yeah. So other than clearing the space, it's important to keep the harmony of the space. Of course, I'm also beginning to learn a little bit more about Vastu, which is about feng shui.
Yeah.
That is coming from, Indian, which is where it originates. So there are certain Vastu principles as well, because it's about the balance of the elements in the home. And when you balance out the elements in the home, because it's energetics at play, right? So then things will flow in more harmony. Yeah. But even as a general rule of thumb, if you have things in your home that you haven't used for a long time, if you have something that you really like, but, maybe it also brings with it certain sad memories, right? Then this would be things that you want to clear. Yeah. Sometimes it's time to part with certain things. It's energetics, right? So you can of course clear the energy, but once you clear the energy, sometimes like, I've been hanging on to that for too long.
Yeah, it's time to part ways and
Yeah.
make space for something new.
Make space for something new, absolutely.
This is very interesting for somebody who collect antiques.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you often find things in antiques?
Not all the time.
Not all the time.
Not all the time. Sometimes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. If you hand down something from, say, your elders, do you clear them too?
Yeah, just look at it. Just approach it, like just feel into it to see if there's anything that needs clearing. Because sometimes these are passed down with a lot of love. Sometimes these are passed down with a lot of power. And those are good things, so we don't need to clear them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you suggest for our audience here to create a better and safer healing atmosphere in their home?
Safer healing atmosphere in the home. I would say that take care of yourself first, because as a healer, you need to make sure that you are the one feeling safe. You need to make sure that you are doing it, not from a space of, insisting and forcing the other people in your family to do it. So go easy on yourself. A lot of times I find that the natural healers at home, we are often very eager to change things because we see that there's a better way, or there are many better ways. But what we need to do is that we need to just ease into, being okay when people don't want to shift, when our family members don't want to shift. We should be okay with that. We should learn to accept that.
That's
we should
hard.
take good care of ourselves first, energetically. Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's hard. And therefore,
hard.
a lot of self-work needs to happen as a healer. So that's why sometimes you feel like, why am I the one? Why do I need to do this? Right? It's because we need to get ourselves out of that environment, and we need to accept that there are some things that I can do, there's some things that I can't do yet, and then therefore let me work on accepting myself. Let me work on being okay, I'm at peace with it, And a lot of times, then you can see, could there be a different solution? And what is the best solution at that point in time? And I know many of us, like there's a point in our life where we actually leave home.
Yeah.
Or like from young, a lot of us want to leave home because we just cannot stand the energy in the house.
Yeah.
And because we don't feel emotionally supported to make the changes, and we feel almost like, I don't want to be here because I don't belong here. The people here are different from me.
They have the word toxic, but not necessarily so, actually.
Yeah, it's just a very different frequency. It's just a very different set of understanding and values that we're connecting with on top of whatever we're connected with already in the family. We're connected to the larger environment or a larger set of consciousness, and therefore we constantly feel like, I know that there's better ways. So I feel that that's why a lot of times the inner work needs to happen first, and even I'm still working on it, right? Like after
We
so many years.
are a work in progress,
Yeah.
right? Just because some people call us healers doesn't mean we don't need healing ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And I find that there's always a lot of need so that we can learn different ways and different tools. So I may have like a main, like you would have a main for now, and then it could change over time. And we will also find that at different points in our life, we will incorporate different tools in healing to support ourselves, right? Be it bud flower remedy, be it the very interesting one that you're getting into, that you were telling me, and I cannot remember the name yet. Spiritual, right? Or like tapping, emotional freedom technique, oils. All of these things are decluttering. All of these are tools to help
colors,
us colors, psychodynamics, human
colors
design.
are beautiful, and it just enters the world of energies so easily because it's a way of we introducing energies.
Yeah.
And when a shift happens, the color changes.
Oh, like you mean the profiling? It actually
No, the hue.
Okay.
The hue changes. Like when you're carrying a lot of things, there's a deeper hue.
Yeah.
But when shift, the color also changes.
It becomes more radiant, lighter, more luminescence.
Yes. Interesting,
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So and that's why, the healer, sometimes we need to be the first one to take that step. Yeah. So it's interesting. It's fun.
It's fun. It's ever growing. Yeah. So we know that some of you, if not all, deep inside you know that you are the healer in your home. Maybe you're not ready to admit it. Maybe you're in the process. But if you are, and when you're ready, you know where to go. So Scarlett, your last word.
Last word for today.
Messages for today.
My last words for today, I'll let this be the beginning. Let this be the beginning to really assessing more of the healer within yourself and really step into, first of all, always taking care and healing ourselves first as we heal the family. Yeah.
It all starts from us. Semua perjalanan penyembuhan itu terjadi ketika kita memulai perjalanan ke dalam diri kita sendiri. Teman-teman Urban Dukun, terima kasih banyak. Silahkan terus pantengin Instagram kami dan program-program kami, karena Scarlett sering datang ke Indonesia untuk mengajar, untuk membantu kita shifting, dan juga kami sudah punya praktisi-praktisi Indonesia yang mengerjakan energy shift dan insight ini yang siap membantu Anda. Terima kasih sudah menonton, sampai jumpa lagi.